Hello, good people of YouTube. Recently, I found myself needing to add something to my Midway cart to get free shipping. I thought, hey, I could use an inexpensive multi-tool to kick around in a car or an EDC bag. At Midway, they have the Callahan multi-tool for about $15. I was curious to get other people's opinions on it. I could not find any videos of it, so here we are. So this is on Midway for about $15. Occasionally I think it's on sale for $9.99, but at the moment in July of 2022, this is $15. So I thought add it to my cart and we'll see how it goes. So the first thing I want to point out that is not terribly obvious in the listing and may not be terribly obvious on video, this thing is humongous, I think. So if you look at how it's built, it's not that big on its own. I'll try and give you a good cross section there in focus, hopefully. But then on the outside of the tool, I assume it's just to make it look prettier. It's got these plates riveted onto the outside that make it a lot bigger than it would be on its own. Now, it feels okay. They're nice and grippy, but I mean, this thing is gigantic. Compare it to, and gigantic, I realize, may be a little hyperbolic, but compare it to a Leatherman Wave that you're probably familiar with. I'll put them side by side, folded up there. The height and the width makes this thing pretty chunky, and it's quite a bit heavier than a Leatherman Wave. So if you're gonna get something like this to kick around in an EDC bag, it's gonna add some heft to it, but maybe that's not such a huge deal. Depends on how far you're walking with your EDC bag. Compare this to maybe the ultimate budget multi-tool, the Ozark Trail multi-tool from Walmart. You can get a size comparison there. I'll go ahead and unfold them. See them all side by side, and I'll give you a side view as well. See how all that looks. See, that'll give you a good size comparison there. And I feel like on the Callahan, on the inside, there's a lot of empty space. You know, the Leathermans do a good job of packing everything in there nice and tight. On the Callahan, you've got a lot of space in there. I think this could be made much smaller, and it'd be a much better tool, but that's just my opinion. So I think the size and the heft of this thing are going to be its main cons. I also don't like that the pliers spring open. I guess I'm just used to using a Leatherman for so long and having it sit there just on its own. Now on the Walmart multi-tools and on a lot of the cheaper ones, they're just held open by a little spring there on the bottom that usually walks out, especially after, I don't know, like a year of use. These just bang around in my tackle box, and that spring is usually the first thing to fail. The spring on this is some kind of internal mechanism that I don't think is going to pop out as easily. You'll see there's no spring visible right there. I think it's something going on in here, like a little flat spring under tension or something like that. I couldn't tell you. I'm not going to open it up and find out. So let's go ahead and see what tools are on it. It's about everything you'd expect in a multi-tool. You've got a file, or a large flathead screwdriver, which may or may not come into focus. There we go. We've got a can opener and bottle opener. Another can opener attachment. On the other side, one knife blade, which feels incredibly small and undersized for how big this multi-tool is. We'll compare it to one of the blades on the Leatherman. Yeah, it's smaller than the Leatherman blade, and a much bulkier multi-tool. So I don't know, if at least maybe the blade was a little thicker on the Callahan, I'd feel like I was getting a little better deal out of it. But these do lock open, like on the Leatherman. Oh, there we go. They've got almost the same kind of tab system set up there. It doesn't feel as solid on the Callahan, but for $15 compared to whatever waves are going for now, I would not expect it to feel as solid. But they do lock up nice and tight, and there's not a lot of slop. I'll give them that. We got another small flathead screwdriver, small Phillips head screwdriver. And then I guess what you'd consider, or what they consider, a saw. The teeth are not as aggressive on something. Come on. There we go. The teeth are not as aggressive compared to the saw on something like the Wave. Let's see if you can get a little better look at the saw blade on the Callahan. Maybe, possibly. I'll put my hand back here. That's probably the way to do it. Yeah, there we go. And then compare that to the saw blade on the Leatherman. If I can get to it. Yikes, there we go. They're much more aggressive on the Leatherman, which is the Leatherman. So, yeah, I don't know if they're considering that a saw blade. I don't know if you'd consider that a saw blade, but if I had to do any sawing, I would definitely want the Leatherman saw blade, hands down. Not a whole lot else to say about this multi-tool. I just wanted to give you a little better overview so you can see how big it is. Maybe that's what you need. Maybe that's not what you need. So I ended up buying 2 of these. You know, I don't think it's a bad tool. I just think it's a little big for something to throw in an EDC bag and carry around every day. But I do carry one in my EDC bag, and if I'll take one fishing, because I'm always worried about losing the Leatherman in the water. Typically for fishing, I'll use the cheap Walmart ones because I'm really bad about dropping these, and I'm not worried about, I think, what's about a $5 multi-tool most of the time. I do keep one of these in my car. I think it's a pretty good beefy set of pliers to have in a vehicle with some other tools. I also have a small tool set in my car in case of emergencies, but I did have to use this to adjust a hose clamp. It was a big beefy hose clamp on one of the larger radiator hoses, and it did its job okay. I think it'd be hard to get a pair of pliers that's so terrible it can't handle a beefy hose clamp, but these handled it just fine. For something like that, I think it'd be fine. Like I said, I do carry one of these in my vehicle. I think that's a good place for it. If someone breaks in and steals it, I'm not that upset about a $15 multi-tool, and I think I'll definitely get more life out of it compared to the Walmart tool. So if you're looking to add something to your cart in Midway to get free shipping, you're thinking about this, there's a little more information on it. Hopefully this helps you make a decision one way or the other. Thank you, and have a fantastic day.